I just muted myself. Hello and welcome to Crown Chat. If it's your first time tuning in or you've been with us several times, I'm so glad to see you. I'm Nichelle Miller, your host of Crown Chat and also your Pure International Elite Miss Heartland USA. And I'm so excited to be here with you tonight with a very special guest because, you know, in Crown Chat, anything can happen. It's all about the behind the scenes with my royal friends. So my platform is The Power to Dream, which is all about empowering girls and women to be their best selves, to be the confident dreamers and go after their goals, no matter their limited resources or environment. And I am honored to share this stage with women that are going after their dreams on the pageant stage. So with that, tonight, I am so excited to have one of my very special new royal friends on. I have been admiring her from afar for a couple of years now and finally get to have her in the Glam Studio. So please welcome my very special queen tonight, Queen Candace. Welcome.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for coming on. I know you watch, and I'm so honored to have you as a viewer, but to have you as a guest tonight is even
Thank
more
you.
amazing. So introduce yourself to everybody that doesn't know.
Hello, everyone. My name is Candace Pixley. I'm your Miss South Carolina American Beauties Plus 2023.
Ooh, so fancy, so fancy. Awesome, awesome. So you're getting ready for nationals.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Oh, hey, Miss Jackie. I had to say hi to her. She hops on. Hey, Miss Jackie.
Hi.
Look, you've got everybody popping on to say hey to you. Okay.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Brittany. That's my little sister.
Sweet. So we'll get to that. But first, let's talk about you
Yes.
and pageants in general. So when I first saw you, you were part of Classic Beauties International, which is a virtual system. But kind of tell us where your pageant journey started in your life and kind of how you got to here.
Yes, my pageant journey, believe it or not, started in high school. So at my high school, Storm Thurmond High School in Johnston, South Carolina, we have a yearly or annual pageant called the Miss Statesman pageant. And I begged my parents every year, please let me do the pageant. Please let me do the pageant. I did not get my chance until senior year. And senior year, I got to compete in the Miss Statesman pageant. Didn't win, however, my peers did vote me as Miss Congeniality. So that was a super cool experience. And I always watched, Miss USA, Miss Universe, Miss America, but I never competed myself. And I spent 2020 working on myself. We all were at home, so I did a lot of work on myself, and I knew I had always wanted to do pageantry. I was losing a lot of family, a lot of friends, and I was just thinking, like, I want to do what I want to do with my life. There are things I've always wanted to do. Let me go do them.
Mm-hmm.
And I joined the Plus Pageant Network here on Facebook, and they were talking about a virtual pageant called Classic Beauty International. I was like, where do I sign up? I signed up and became Miss United States. And that's kind of where my recent journey started with pageantry.
Okay. Okay. So you went from virtual. Now you're hitting the stage.
Yes.
Are you ready?
I am ready. I am ready. I've been working since October, ever since my reign ended. And I didn't say, but I did win my division with Classic Beauty International. I am the first ever Ms. Classic Beauty International. And once my reign ended in October and I joined American Beauties Plus, I have been working ever since. Whether it's practicing my walk or standing in front of the mirror, practicing introducing myself or saying what my platform is. So I've been working. I've been putting in the work.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I saw you at nationals last year for American Beauty Plus. You were
Yeah,
there for CBI representing. Was it then that you kind of got the bug that you wanted to be on stage?
for sure. I left there so confident. I left there with sisters and just excited. And even, I was reigning in a different system at the time, but it lit a fire under me, like just to be a better queen from everyone in the room, just representing and being glamorous and being strong and driven and inspirational. So that, yeah, nationals did it for me last year. I was rooming with Janelle Myers, and after the first optionals I went to, I came back to our room and I said, oh my gosh, I get it. Like, I get it. I get it. I want to be here. So that was it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Oh, what a good roommate to have.
Yes, she was awesome.
Lucky. So you mentioned it a little bit. We talked about platforms when you and I were talking earlier before we got on camera. I got scoop. Y'all don't have yet. So tell me a little bit about your platform.
Yes, so my platform is Misophonia Awareness, where I highlight a condition that causes individuals to experience fight, or freeze when they hear specific sounds. And we call the sounds in the misophonia world, we call them trigger sounds. And basically, it's you hear a sound and you react in a way that any other person would not react to it. For instance, I actually have a mild case of misophonia. With me, if you're crunching on chips around me, I get very agitated to where I have to put in noise canceling headphones, or if I can, I have to get up and leave because it makes me agitated. Some people who have it, they may even get angry. And before I understood what misophonia was, I just figured people were just getting on my nerves. Like, you're just getting on my nerves. But it's actually a condition associated with that. And I'm a part of support groups online, on Facebook in particular. There's a really good misophonia support group. And, we go in there when we're being triggered. Or if we just have a general question that, we want some support on. There are parents in there, they have children or teenagers who are misophones. And what we're noticing with the teenagers and children, they actually become distant with their family. They say, my child has misophonia, and they don't want to come around anymore. And they're in their room all the time with their headphones on. They have their music all the way up. And I actually had started doing that myself. There were times when I would come home from college and, I would be around my family, but after a while I would retreat to my room. And, I'm in there either with headphones on or watching a documentary because it was quiet. And I remember several times my mom coming in and saying, hey, don't you want to come out here and watch TV? And I'm thinking in my head, no. But it's just like, I don't want to be rude, but the sounds are driving me crazy. And especially when you're really triggered, it almost feels like torture. That's the best way I can describe it. You feel like someone is physically torturing you with the sound. And all you can think of is, how fast can I get away from this?
Wow. Now that's very unique. We just had Chrissy said she
I
didn't
see that.
and didn't even know there was a name for it. So how did you identify that was the condition or that was the definition of what you were experiencing?
So I started working at corporate America after college, and there was this team I was on, and there were several triggers in there. I had no idea what misophonia was. I just knew that some days I hated to be at work, and I felt like I wanted to rip my ears off. I'll put my headphones in and crank the music all the way up. People are trying to call me and I'm just zoned out so I can work. And, that happened. I was just like, oh, I'll be glad when they leave the company or I get a new job. I'm just like, all I could think of is, how can I get away from you? And then very randomly one day, I came across an article on, I believe it was on like one of those news online articles. I don't remember the exact publication, but I read it. And at the beginning of the article, they had a YouTube video, and it was a loop of someone crunching into an apple. And I clicked on it, and I was like, why would they do that? And then I read the article, and it was like, did that sound drive you like up a wall? And I was like, oh my gosh, yes. And then it explained what misophonia was. I had this since I was a teenager, preteen actually, and I didn't know it had a name. And for me, it started with repeating sounds. And my sister, she's in the comments, she's probably the only one who I told this, but repeating sounds would make me physically nauseous. Like, I would feel like I was getting sick because of a sound repeating.
Oh, wow.
Did not know it was misophonia, did not know it had a name. And, it turned into trigger sounds as I got older. Crumpling bags, people clicking pens over and over again. Like, it's more so repetitive sounds that are the biggest triggers.
Wow. I know pen clicking drives me crazy. Crazy.
Yeah.
So how can we, because I'm in corporate America as well, how can we be sensitive or raise awareness to be sensitive to people that have this condition so that we're not triggers for people?
That is great. So something that needs to be done before anything can be done by someone who is a trigger, the misophone has to speak up. And oftentimes we get embarrassed and we don't want to speak up.
Yeah.
It's very hard to tell somebody, hey, the way you're crunching those chips or the way you're breathing while you're eating is driving me up a wall. Could you stop? Like, it's just hard and it's embarrassing to do that. So one of the main proponents of my platform is to encourage misophones to speak up first and foremost. And if you're afraid speaking up, I actually did not bring them. They're in my purse, but there are some cards. There's an organization called SoQuiet.org, and they are a misophonia advocacy organization. I follow them on Facebook. I go to their, thank you. I go to their online events, and basically they have these cards you can order, and they're free, completely free cards. And they say on one side, I have misophonia. And then there's an arrow saying, what's that? And then you turn it over on the back. It has a definition of misophonia. And then it says, if you could please stop making this sound around me, I would greatly appreciate it. And it tells the person, like, let's say I would give you one. It would say, you're not doing anything wrong, but this sound is triggering me right now. So first and foremost, misophones have to speak up.
That's amazing. I love the card idea, and I put it for everybody watching or listening. The site's up there, so you can get those, because I wouldn't know that I was triggering somebody. So that's good information. I need those just for pin clickers. Oh, drives me crazy.
And you know, with you saying that, even it was a recent study that came out of the UK actually earlier this year, and they believe 1 in 5 people have some form of misophonia. Like I said, my case is very mild. I actually can sit through it and be tortured. I'll be absolutely tortured, and I will not open my mouth. But there are some people, they will physically act out. Especially, I notice, like, when I hear about teenagers, they're more likely to physically act out. Mm-hmm. And I was even speaking to a sister queen. Shout out to my sister Keisha, another ABP queen. She was talking about children with behavior disorders and things of that nature. And she was saying how some of them, they are triggered by sounds, but they don't know about misophonia. They don't know it has a name. And you think a child has a behavior disorder when really the way your chalk touches the board before it even writes is annoying the child. You know, you never know what it is. So it needs to be talked about.
That's amazing. And that's a very strong platform, because I don't know about anybody else watching. Well, like one person said they didn't know there was a name for it. I didn't know either. So how do you bring awareness to that in your pageant journey?
Yes. So right now, at each appearance I make sure, you know, when people ask, well, who are you? What is Miss South Carolina? I immediately bring up my platform and conversations. I bring it up online. I've had conversations with people just like Chrissy at appearances. I might be at an appearance about homelessness, but I'm going to talk about misophonia. And they'll say, oh my gosh, I think I have that. Or I think my husband has that. I didn't know it had a name. I've heard that so many times. I didn't know it had a name. I've had a relative, actually Classic Beauty International is actually what encouraged me to start talking about misophonia. I started getting very courageous, and I was like, it's time to talk about it. And I started talking about it before it was even my platform on my CBI pages. And I had a relative come to me saying, oh my gosh, I have this. And they were like, I didn't know it was a name. I get really aggravated when I hear XYZ. Like, and it's like, you can't control it. You don't want to be annoyed, but you get really annoyed and you can't control it. So I make sure wherever I am, because it's not widely researched yet. There is research out there and it's growing, thankfully. There are seminars online and things of that nature that I try to make sure I'm somewhere in the mix of those. But basically right now, just talking about it, wherever I am, I will bring up misophonia, because I have met someone at several of my appearances who think they or someone in their family has misophonia, and they had no idea it had a name, had no idea it was a thing.
Wow. Well, you taught me tonight. I'm excited. So this is awesome. This is awesome. So you've been a queen from the virtual side now to the live in-person side. What's been the biggest difference, or the hardest transition piece from that?
So the hardest transition, I would have to say, would be in preparation. I'm sorry, my crown is falling. My hair is flat. It's not used to the flat hair. I usually have big curly hair. So
I understand.
But the biggest transition has been in preparation. There was preparation with the virtual side, but it's more grandiose, if you
Mm-hmm.
will, on the stage side. A lot more money, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying going to these places and meeting people as I prepare and say, hey, this is for a pageant, and they're like, oh well, shout me out when the pictures come up, or I just, it's putting me in front of more people for sure. Of course, social media is a huge part of our lives these days, and that's great, but just to physically go out to people because I have to prepare, that's been amazing. That's been an amazing difference.
That's wonderful. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. So you're competing. So the main areas of competition are, let me think. So you've got interview, you have fun fashion or runway,
Hmm.
and then formal with onstage question.
Correct.
Correct? Okay. So of those, what's your favorite part of the competition that you're looking forward to?
I would have to say evening gown. I like elegance. I like flashiness. So I love you too, Lashara. That's my sister. She's amazing.
Well, Shira, I've got to get you on Crown Chat. Message me.
Yes.
Okay. Evening gown. I love that part too.
Yes.
I
I
love
love
it.
I just love elegance. I love getting fancy, and I don't get fancy often. I don't even wear makeup in my daily life. So to be able to get fancy and the flowy hair, the pretty dresses, and have people looking at me, it's exciting.
Yeah, you make a good point, and I think a lot of queens or title holders don't. I mean, this is not the norm. I always joke that I look like a homeless lady most days because I'm in a messy bun and sweats or shorts
Right.
half the time. So, were your family, friends, coworkers so surprised when you announced that you were a queen?
They were, especially at my last job. I actually just started a new job in February, but at my last job, I was doing a fundraiser and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to tell them I'm a queen now. And it was like, okay, let's do it. And then I told them, they're like, really? Oh my gosh. They're like, I see it. Okay, I see it. Typical. Like, okay, thank
That's
you.
awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I've seen people that kind of do both. Like they don't tell anybody and then they do and it's like, so this huge shock. I love
They
it.
could tell, which is interesting. Like, one young lady I worked with, she was like, the way you carry yourself, like it just makes me want to walk taller. And I was like, I didn't realize I was carrying myself in a way, and you don't realize people are watching you either, and they really are. So,
Which is fabulous. It's
mhm,
fabulous and then it's scary at the same time because you have to remember you're holding this, standard that you're
that's right.
setting. I love it. I love it. So, since doing pageants, I mean from high school all the way through now, what's something you've learned about yourself?
Oh my gosh. I have learned that I genuinely enjoy making people happy. I enjoy meeting people, and as soon as they start talking to me, they brighten up. They don't know what it is about me, but it's just like, "Oh, you're so easy to talk to," or, I make somebody smile, or they say thank you. Like it's just being appreciated. I just enjoy being appreciated, and I before I would not have known that about myself because I tend to be a background person. I tend to be behind the scenes. I used to do event planning in my spare time because I was like, I can make the event happen, but I'm behind the scenes. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So how's now you like I'm like, oh, that's exciting. So how's that transition been from behind the scenes to, front and center?
Oh my goodness. It's given me confidence I never knew I could have. I thought I was confident before, but I wasn't. It was very surface level, superficial. Now I'm genuinely confident. Like I was actually just thinking before we started talking earlier before the show, I was thinking about how people would say things to me, a few years ago, and it would just crush me for weeks at a time, months at a time. And now people say something, and it's like I forget it as soon as they say it. If it's not constructive, if it's constructive, of course I take it and I deal with it. But if somebody's trying to hurt me or things like that, like my confidence, you can't hurt me. You can't hurt me anymore. So I love it.
That's awesome. That's
Yes.
awesome. I love that. Let's see, making sure I didn't miss anybody. I think we're good. Okay, cool. So, what is one piece of advice that you've received? I mean, you roomed with the queen of all queens. Um, one piece of advice that you've received while preparing or on your journey that has been really valuable and sticks with you.
One piece of advice that sticks with me, I would have to say, and this is something I realized myself. So it was advice, and it's something I actually realized myself when I did CBI. Show who you are, like genuinely who you are in everything you do. Because it's seen. It's seen if you're genuine or not. I've done interviews with people, or I've talked to people who are helping me on the journey, and they'll say, I believe what you say. And I'm thinking, I want you to believe it because I'm genuine. I'm
Right.
giving you me. So give yourself, be you, and be genuine and authentic in everything you do.
Yeah. And that's so important because you see the opposite. You see
Mhm.
what people think, especially in a judging situation. They show what they think the judges want.
Exactly.
That's not who they are. Then you get a title and it's like, well, that doesn't match, who they presented themselves to be. So
Exactly.
I think that's amazing. And it makes you relatable as a queen, which
Exactly.
makes you approachable, which helps you to expand your platform because more people pay attention. So
That's right.
shout out, amazing. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Classic Beauties International, which was virtual.
Hmm.
You found that on a website or on Facebook group. You
Yes.
signed up to do that. So if anyone's looking for a virtual pageant, look up Classic Beauties International. What areas did you compete in there? Because you won. You won your
I
division.
did. I did win my division. So for Classic Beauties International, we had interview, which was the bulk of our score. It was virtual, and I'm understanding a lot of pageant systems are starting to do virtual interview now, so it's becoming a thing. But our interview was virtual. We also did essay, and we did photogenic. So
Wow, essay. I haven't written an essay in years.
yeah, we had essay. I was like, oh my gosh, I am X amount of years removed from school, so.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay, so virtual Classic Beauties International. Now you're in the American Beauties Plus division,
Yes.
which it's near and dear to me. But I love that it's a division that's for girls. I believe it's sizes 14 and up.
14 and up. Mhm.
Okay,
14 and
which
up.
is anybody that's out there looking for a pageant that's concerned about their size, there's an option
Yes.
for you because there's all sizes in
Right.
there. So
That's right.
what drew you? I mean, I know you were already part of the system through CBI
Right.
in a way, but what drew you to ABP for your next journey?
Oh my goodness. So I got to nationals last year, and before any competition started, I walked in the hotel and I had so many of you all running up to me, hugging me, snapping selfies with me, saying, I've been watching you. And I'm like, who is this? So you all knew me way before I knew who all of you were. I knew some of you. Shout out to Shauna. But I knew some of you, and just to feel that sisterhood right away when I was in a totally different pageant, but because we were under the same umbrella, it's like, hey, sister queen.
Yeah.
So just that sisterhood drew me. And then when I got inside the competition, I saw, just like you just said, women of all shapes and sizes competing, being celebrated. When I tell you, I go to other pageants now and I expect Royal Productions types of fans, and I don't see that.
Mhm.
I'm, I'm like, oh, tone it back. You're not at a Royal Productions event, because it's just, oh my goodness, I can't explain it. Just the cheering and the applause, and it was just so much fun to be a part of. And I just left there so confident, so excited. And I knew, I was like, when CBI is done, I'm coming right back. Like, I knew that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you're leaving in a couple weeks or 2.5 weeks or so.
Yes.
What are you most, I mean, aside from formal wear and all that, now I'm going to change it a little bit.
Okay.
Who are you most excited to see when you get there?
Okay. So we actually answered this on our countdown to nationals. And I'm excited to see our Ms. American Beauty's National, Jackie Waters. She and I kept in touch after Nationals last year because something I made it a point to do after Nationals last year. Every queen who won in my division, so all the Ms. Queens, I specifically ran and found each of them had, whether it was a small conversation or a long conversation, I made sure I had a conversation with them. I let them know who I was, and we took a picture together. So totally Jackie. Jackie just kept in touch with me after that. We message each other from time to time. I'm also ready to see my CBI sisters who are hitting the stage this year for the first time, LaShira, Tiffany. You know, we can, and my South Carolina sister queen, Victoria, we both were reigning CBI queens last year from the state of South Carolina. And this year we're both representing ABP for South Carolina.
Wow.
So I'm ready to see everybody. And of course, my other South Carolina sister queen, our Miss South Carolina National Sorority Pageant, Miss Sharita Williams. South Carolina is represented this year, and I'm so happy about it. I'm ready to see everybody. And if any of the CBI court comes out, I'd love to see them in person. Like, those are my girls. So, yeah.
All right. Watch out, y'all. South Carolina's coming in a posse to take over the stage. I'm excited. I can't wait. I can't wait. So, we talked about your wardrobe. We talked about your prep. You have a lot going on. So you are a title holder. You are representing your platform. You are working. What do you do to take care of you?
So this is kind of random. You have to be close to me to know this, but I actually like playing games, like video games.
Okay.
I still play Candy Crush. That's embarrassing because a lot of people don't play anymore, but I still play Candy Crush. I recently purchased, I have an old school Xbox. People don't know that either. Every now and again when my nephew comes over, if he's running around my living room, I'll record him and I'll post it online. And almost every time somebody will message me and say, whose Xbox is there? I'm like, it's mine. Like, I play Xbox. So yeah, I play video games. I play phone games. That relaxes me. Also, going for rides. I live very close to Charlotte. I'm in South Carolina, but I'm literally a mile and a half off of the border outside of Charlotte. So I'll ride around Charlotte. I'll journal. I'll read a book. Like, I make sure that every day I do something, whether great or small, to make sure I'm soothing myself. That also helps with misophonia, keeping your stress down, making sure you're soothing yourself. So I make sure I do something to self-soothe every day. And then on the weekends, on Saturday, if I'm not in appearance, I'm at home resting, or I'm hanging out with my nephew and my sister and my brother-in-law.
Awesome. Yeah. So important, especially as you prepare for that bigger title again, to make sure you take time for you, because you can get absorbed. Okay, so, and I play Candy Crush. Actually, I stopped because I got mad because I couldn't pass one level I was on. So I have uninstalled it and I'm mad at it. And but I'm playing Animal Crossing. I got an Nintendo Switch and I'm playing that. So
I see that, but I only play it when it's, you know, when they give you like a sample of the game in the ads. I'll play it then, but that's it.
So you're not alone. You're not alone. I get it.
I've been made fun of for playing Candy Crush. So,
oh no,
see you Candy Crush haters out there.
There's more of us. I'm just mad at it.
That's right.
I can't pass the level, so I quit. I was mad. Okay, so what would people be surprised? What's one thing people would be surprised to know about you?
People would be surprised to know I actually once took up karate, and I got to the green belt. This is actually a couple of years ago. So yeah, I have a green belt. Well, I got orange. I was 2 classes away from green. And karate. Yes, I took karate.
Wow.
So orange belt in karate.
I never would have guessed that. When if you were in a lineup and it was 2 truths and a lie, I'd be like, no. That is awesome.
I'm full of surprises.
That is awesome. Okay. What's one room in your house right now that you would not want us to see?
I would not want you to see my bedroom. There is a hamper full of clothes that should have been folded days ago. And that's that.
I understand.
Life is lifing.
I like that. Life is lifing. I love it.
Mhm.
What's been your favorite appearance so far? I mean, you've been busy.
I try to make sure I'm busy. Yes.
So what's been your
My
favorite?
favorite appearance, and it always happens when I get asked this question. I always say one of the most recent ones, but I've enjoyed them all. But my most favorite has been going back to my hometown recently and being in the Peach Blossom Festival parade. I'm from Johnston, South Carolina. It is the peach capital of the world. There are lots of peaches in Johnston, South Carolina. And I was in the parade. Actually, last year I went back to the parade, but I wasn't in it, and I didn't know so many people from my hometown were following me as Miss CBI. But people, every group of people who walked up to me, they were like, "Why aren't you in the parade?" I was like, "Oh my gosh!" So this year I made sure I was in it, and just to be in the parade and seeing people I hadn't seen in years, light up, seeing me waving at people, and having one lady even told me, she was happy to see someone who looked like her in the pageant space represent. She said, "You represented for us in the parade," and nobody's ever said it to me in that way. I've had people say, "Thank you for representing us," or "I'm going to send a picture of you to my little niece. She's plus size and she needs to see somebody like you." But just to have somebody say that to me, like face to face, like, "Thank you for representing us. I was wondering where people were who looked like us, and there you were." And it was just a beautiful experience. A little boy, and usually it's every now and again I can get some little boys to have conversations with me. But this little boy walked by me and he said, "A queen." Like he just looked up at me. He said, "A queen." And he just ran up to me and just, gave me a hug. And I'm
Oh,
standing there like my heart is just melting. I'm just like, oh my gosh. So that had to be like the best, just being at home and sharing that experience with my dad. My dad drove for me. And, once we got to the end of the parade, I said, "Thank you, Daddy." I said, "I got to share this experience with my favorite guy in the whole wide world." I said, "This is ours." And he was like, "That's right." And that was just, yeah.
I love that. I love that. And I love that someone said thanks for representing it. It's good to see somebody that looks like me. And I think that's so important,
Mhm.
especially with little girls and even little boys.
That's
It's
right.
like there's a queen that looks like, my mom, or looks like somebody that
That's
could be
right.
my family, or that represents and identifies. And so it just makes them feel like, okay, there's hope and I can dream and there's things I can do. So thank you for doing that for those
Yeah,
little.
you're welcome.
Parades are my favorite with little kids because they're to
Yes,
see their faces.
so cute.
I love
I
that.
did a parade for St. Patrick's Day with our Mrs. Classic Beauty International for this year, who is also from South Carolina. South Carolina has had a reigning queen in every division of CBI, but but we did a parade together, and just to see those children just light up and wave like, look at the queen, look at the queen. It was really cool.
Oh, is that Danielle?
It is actually Sterling.
Oh, you're Mrs. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Mrs. Danielle is competing this year, so shout out to our
Okay.
Mrs. America Classic Beauties International. She's amazing too.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it. I love it. You're so cool.
Yes.
Okay. So with everything you have going on, how do you stay organized?
Oh my gosh, my phone. Sometimes there is disorganization, and then I figure it all out and get it together. But my phone, I keep everything in my calendar. My phone notifications are the way to go right now. I typically like to write everything down.
Mhm.
I'm low key obsessed with handwriting. I love to write,
Me
which is weird.
too.
Yeah, you do. Do you doodle your name or just write
I
random things?
do.
Oh my gosh.
I have notebooks everywhere, and
Me too. Oh
my
my gosh, I have
planner is a
notebooks.
paper planner. I have to write it. I'm a writer, and
Yeah.
I highlight and anyway, okay, go ahead. Go ahead, go ahead.
Yes, I prefer to write, but I realized I wasn't doing a great job keeping up with writing because, like you, I have lots of notebooks. I'm like, wait, which notebook did I write this in?
Yes.
So I started using my phone. My phone just helps me out. It helps keep me organized. I also will use, if someone sends me an email about some kind of reminder or Facebook message, even, I'll leave it on unread just so I know. Because I always go back. I don't know what it is about me. I don't like to see unread messages in any of my inboxes. So
Yep.
if I see something there, I'll keep checking. I'm like, oh, that's what that is. I'll leave it. And then eventually when it's time to use it, I use it. So Technology helps keep me organized.
Okay, that's a really good tip to leave it on
Mhm.
unread, so then you
Yeah.
know you have that reminder.
Yep.
Because I too, when I see a number, I'm like, oh, what is that? And I'm going
Yes.
through looking to find it so I can clear it out. So
I get
yeah.
anxious at work when I'm sitting and looking over somebody's shoulder and they have like 1,000 unread messages. I'm like, why? Like, why?
Who are you? Why?
Yeah, I
I love
can't.
it. I love it. I love it. So pageantry, we talked earlier, can be expensive. Like, going
Yes.
from the virtual to the on stage. What are
Yes.
some tips or a tip that you have to try to keep costs low?
Yes. I haven't done too much of this myself, but there are lots of groups online where a lot of queens recycle.
Mhm.
They'll sell something that maybe they only wore once or they bought it as a backup and never wore it. There's plenty of new with tags posts.
Yeah.
You can find almost anything in any category that you're looking for online. Also, there's a site called Poshmark. Poshmark is where people resell things. They also have new with tags on Poshmark too, but you can find discounted prices on Poshmark. I would also I would also recommend going small business,
Mhm.
Etsy shops, uh, Amazon. Even if you can find something nice on Amazon, Amazon is hit or miss. I bought several things off Amazon and it's been hit or miss. So be careful with that. But go the online route, and if you know of any thrift shops in your area that tend to be on the high end. I live close to a neighborhood where they're pretty high end, and I
Mhm.
would I would totally go through their thrift shop for some fancy things. So there are lots of resources out there to help you keep your costs down.
Those are really good tips,
Yeah.
definitely. And I think especially because most queens, I won't say all, but many of us, I won't say you're bougie. I call it bougetto, where you're bougie but a little ghetto. You're bougetto. And once
I'm
you've worn an
bougie.
outfit for an appearance and taken pictures, you will never wear it again.
Oh my gosh, I thought that was just me. I do it sometimes, but I'm cringing when I do it. It's just like, oh, I wore this to such and so, and everybody's gonna remember this outfit. But nobody,
Right?
first of all, nobody cares. But second of all, you do become Bougetto as a pageant queen. It's
You
like, I
do.
wore this. Let me go find another one.
Yeah. So
You'll
then you
have way
find
more
sisters
credit.
that are the same size and y'all can start swapping. So
Yeah, right. But yeah, we need to team up, sisters, and swap out.
yeah, swap. Because once you've worn it
Yes.
once, it's over. It is over. Oh my goodness. That's so funny. Shira said her too. Definitely.
The
Definitely.
struggle.
So real. So real. What
Yes.
is your favorite snack for pageant week?
My favorite, my sister, my favorite snack. So I've started this thing lately. I was plant based the first 3 months of the year, so I got to eat some things that wouldn't normally eat. I'm somewhat plant based now, but every now and again I'll eat some cheese or something creamy.
Mhm.
But um, I actually realized I like dates and walnuts. It's like a
Oh,
plant-based version of a Snickers bar. I'm like, this is my fun size Snicker bar. So I'll eat the date with some walnuts. So that'll probably be my favorite snack. Gives me good energy. It's got lots of good things in it, and it's a nice snack.
wow.
Mhm.
I don't think I've ever eaten a date. I
Oh,
don't love walnuts, but I may check it out because I love a Snickers bar. So,
I did too prior to plant-based. I had a problem. I would like buy at least one or two a week, like on my way home from work. And then I haven't bought any Snickers since then. Like if
oh,
I want a
wow.
Snickers, I get a date and a walnut and I'm good.
Okay, I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna have to try it. I'm definitely gonna have to try it. Okay. What is your favorite color?
My favorite color is pink. I
Me
love
too.
I am surrounded by pink here at my desk, from my keyboard to my stand. I love pink. It just makes me happy. It's feminine. It just does something to me. Like whenever I have pink around me, it's just like, all is right with the world.
Yeah,
Feminine, girly, pretty, pink, 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 all pink.
same. When people say they don't like pink, I'm like, ugh,
Yeah, like how can you not?
what's wrong with you? Ew.
Right.
Okay. Would you rather order a sandwich or a wrap?
Mm, a sandwich. I do like wraps, but I tend to pick sandwiches over wraps.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Interesting. Interesting.
Sourdough bread, please.
Are you an early bird or a late owl?
Ooh, I could be a mixture of both, but I would say I'm an early bird. And the only reason I say that, I say I'm going to sleep in every weekend and I'm up at like 6 o'clock. And some days I'll just lay there. I was like, I'm not moving until I feel like it because I'll just wake up and I'm up for the rest of the day. So
Yeah.
I would say I'm early, and it's just an internal clock. I've been waking up since I was since 5:30 since I was a little girl. I was the oldest child, so I had to get up before the whole family, except for my mom. My mom would get up first, and then I was next in line. So 5:30 since grade school, and now 4:30, anywhere from 4:30 to 6 in the morning, I'm up.
Oh my goodness. That's
Yeah.
yeah. I'm an early bird, but not that early. So you said you're the oldest. How many siblings do you have?
I have one sister and three brothers. I am the oldest of five.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm an only child, so I'm like,
Oh
wow.
wow. Yeah.
Wow.
There was a time where, if I heard somebody was an only child, just like, wow. And I'm still like that. But I do appreciate my siblings. They
Yeah.
were headaches, but they are I call them my heartstrings. Like I love my siblings. I do.
Oh,
I'd do anything for them. I really would.
I love that. Yeah, and that's what I tell my kids because I have three. Well, we have
Okay.
five. We have five together, but I have three. But
Okay.
I'm like, you guys, you share experiences that nobody else has, and when they're fighting, and they're like, I don't care. But I think
That's the
eventually,
thing though with siblings, it can go from World War III to to
just like
just
that.
best of friends. Yeah.
And
So
then, did y'all team up on each other? Like usually, it's two against one. I don't know what they're doing. They
we
team up
we
on each
had
other.
our moments where we would pick it one over the other, but I wouldn't say I wouldn't say we teamed up like two on two because there were two of us at a time at one set, and then my youngest brother came along later. But no, I don't think we teamed up too much. We might pick on one at a time, but that's how it went.
That's fair. That's okay.
Yeah.
Symbala. I like purple better than pink. Ah,
Purple is my second favorite color, so that's a
we'll
good choice.
we'll allow that today. We'll allow
Yeah, it's my second favorite.
it. All right. If we go to a karaoke spot, what song are you singing?
I would actually pick something by Aaliyah. I loved Aaliyah. So I there's a song she had called I Don't Wanna, and that was my favorite Aaliyah song. So it would be something by Aaliyah.
Okay. Okay. What's the last book you read?
Oh, the last book I read, it's called it's about femininity. I'm trying to remember the title right now. It's a book about femininity by her name was Brittany. What's the girl's name from the game? Her name was the exact same name as hers. I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's gonna come to me when I'm not even thinking about it. But it was a book about femininity and just regaining your femininity through like trauma or just societal norms and things of that nature. I've just been really into femininity,
Mm-hmm.
um, and just seeing like what the topic entails for society now because I think people take it in different ways. So just getting different perspectives on femininity. That's what I've been working on right now. And then there's also one called Be the Prize that I read lately. It's a book about femininity as well.
Okay. Okay. Now, are you a book reader or are you like a Kindle, electronic book, or an audio book? How do you read your books?
You can't see it behind me, but there's a bookshelf full of books. I prefer books, but I have been getting into audiobooks more so lately just because of schedules and demands of life. I don't read it as much as I used to. So
Mhm.
audiobooks they've been the move lately, and I'm enjoying audiobooks.
Yeah, same. Although I find I'm listening to an audiobook and then I'm two, three chapters in, and then I'm like, wait, what did they
Wait,
say?
wait, what? Rewind. Yeah.
And then I have to go back. Okay, I'm glad I'm not alone.
No,
Glad
you're
I'm
not.
not alone on that. Okay. If you had to teach a class on one thing, what would you teach?
I would teach a class on confidence and
Okay.
self-esteem just because it's lacking with so many people today. There's so many people who hold themselves back for lack of confidence. There's so many people who think themselves out of things that they've always wanted to do because of lack of confidence, or who just they just freeze in life. They're stuck in one area because of lack of confidence. So I would definitely teach about confidence.
What would be your one piece of advice for someone that is stuck due to lack of confidence? What would you tell them?
Do it scared, do it unsure, just do it. Because regret is way more painful than not trying at all. If you try, you could say, at least I gave it an attempt. It wasn't for me. If you never try, you'll sit and wonder what if for the rest of your life.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Somebody said that's me.
Mhm.
That's great. Awesome advice. Awesome advice. Would you rather play Monopoly or Uno?
Oh no. Oh no leads to trash talking. I like trash talking when I'm playing a game.
Now, do you play house rules where if somebody says Uno before you, you have to draw two? Or do you play?
Yes. Yes. And I play the stacking, the draws, all of that. Cause Uno says we're not supposed to stack. We stack.
Yeah, that's how we play too. That's and our son, our 8-year-old, is just learning to play, and that's his thing is to try to catch you and go Uno, and I'm like, no,
Yeah.
you have to say it before. So okay,
Yeah.
good. I'm glad you play house rules. That's how we play too.
Yes, that's right.
What's your favorite TV show?
Ooh, my favorite TV show. I tend to watch older TV shows. When I was growing up, they started Nick at Night on Nickelodeon, and my mom had me watching all the shows that she watched when she was a little girl. So I grew up watching Good Times and The Jeffersons and Mary Tyler Moore, and I love just old TV shows. What's Happening? That's My Mama. None of these were out when I was born, but I know them. I know about them. So just older TV shows, and Good Times is actually my favorite. I just love the family dynamic of it. It just
Yeah,
reminds me a lot of my family. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, popcorn or M&Ms?
hmm, popcorn,
Caramel corn or cheddar corn or plain corn?
cheddar,
Mm.
cheese me.
We went to the coolest popcorn place
Uh-huh.
Saturday in Bloomington, and it was local and it was Black owned, and they had like every flavor
Ooh.
under the sun. It was so good, so
Did
good. I
they
think
have the Chicago where they mix the caramel, the is caramel cheddar and butter, I think. Yeah.
they did. They or it was
Ooh.
no, they had was it caramel cheddar? I think it was just caramel and cheddar, maybe not
Okay.
butter
Oh,
too.
it might be, yeah, it might be those two, but it's delicious. That's a good flavor.
So good. Okay. Anyway, I'm like all over the place. Okay. If you had a superpower, what would it be?
Ooh, if I had a superpower, I would actually time travel. Um,
Oh,
yeah, I'm I'm not someone who's studied history, but I'm very intrigued by it. I've researched my family history. I would love to go back and talk to some of those people, and I just history intrigues me. I'm just like I want to know the story. I don't want to just have a surface level understanding. Like I want to know. I want to know as much as I can about the past.
I love that.
Mhm.
I love that. Okay. If you were in the Olympics, what would be your sport?
Hmm. So I don't do much of it myself, but I've always admired those distance runners. They run and run and run for I don't know how long, and I'm just in awe about it. Like that is amazing to be able to do that. It's superhuman almost. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Do you have a favorite Disney princess and who is it?
Yes, my favorite Disney princess is Jasmine. Aladdin is my favorite Disney movie. So
Really?
yes,
That is not one I've heard on this show before. So that's exciting. That's a
yes.
new one. That's a new one.
Yeah,
Love
my
it.
auntie still picks at me and my sister to this day. She said that, she said y'all are almost floating out of the theater because we love the movie so much. Like I did, I loved it.
It's a good one. Now, do
Mhm.
you like or prefer the cartoon one or the remake?
Cartoon.
Same. Yeah. I don't know. They keep remaking stuff and I don't like it.
Yeah, the only one that I've even liked so far has been Aladdin, but I still prefer the cartoon. Like when I remember I saw Beauty and the Beast, and I ended up turning it off. I was like, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
old school. Give me the cartoon.
Same. Same. If aliens came to Earth, Would you go with them?
Oh,
If they beamed down and wanted to take you, would you go?
I would strongly consider, but I'd probably say no because I don't know what to expect. But sometimes an escape from everything sounds nice, but I'm also a very calculated woman and I don't know what to expect, so I wouldn't go.
Okay. Okay. That's fair. What's something about you that your younger self would be surprised or proud of?
Oh, wow. My younger self will be surprised that I'm doing pageantry. Um, just from watching them every year and wishing I could be on stage and wishing that I could do that too, wishing I had the confidence to do something like that.
Yeah.
I believe she would be very surprised, very happy about, and very proud of.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you have a favorite holiday or season?
My favorite season is summer. I like heat.
Ah,
I do like heat. I like heat. I like the excitement of it all. And my birthday is in summer, so I'm a summer baby.
okay. Okay. That's fair. I don't like to be hot at all. Ugh, ugh.
I like being hot. I don't like hot and humid, which unfortunately is very difficult to get away from in South Carolina, but
Mhm.
I make it work.
Sure. I love these questions. You're next, sister. You're next.
That's right.
Okay. What'd you have for breakfast today?
For breakfast today, oh God. So I have these eggplant parmesan. They're not even parmesan. I have eggplant, and I have baked some this morning. I baked two. I was supposed to eat them for lunch with a salad. I actually ate one of them for breakfast, and I ate the other one for lunch. So I had eggplant for breakfast.
I find myself like as soon as I start my work day, I'm like, "Ooh, what am I gonna have for lunch?" Like I get so excited. That's the highlight of my day.
I
Is
knew
what
I had it in my lunch bag, and I was like, I really want that eggplant right now. So I went ahead and ate it. One of them. So yeah.
it's what you got to do. It's what you got to do. Okay. Let me see what else I'm going to ask you that I haven't asked you already. I have a whole list of things.
Oh.
When you're not on stage, we talked a little bit about how you kind of wind down, but when
Mhm.
you're not on stage or at an appearance or working, what do you like to do?
I love playing with my nephew. Like it's one of my favorite things in the whole wide world. He's my sweet pea. I call him Sweet Pea, and I'm TT. So
Oh,
playing with my sweet pea is one of my favorite things to do. I try to get over there every weekend to my sister's house just to play around and have fun with my sweet pea.
now how old is he?
He will be 3 in August, so he's 2. He's almost 3.
Oh.
Yeah, he's so funny. He's so funny. Hey Isaac, if you're watching.
Sure he is. Sure he is. What's one important thing every queen needs at nationals? Good question.
Ooh, that's a very good question. Uh, One important thing every queen needs. Oh, she
You
needs
love.
she needs her crown and sash for sure. But I would just say she needs to bring her authentic self, bring who she is, bring her. And
And
don't
her
forget all
dresses.
the other stuff along the way, but don't forget your dresses, your crown, your sash, your makeup, and hair, and all that stuff. But bring yourself and be ready for some fun.
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah, I went last year and forgot all my dresses. So
Yeah, I heard that, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" When you said that, I was wondering, like, whenever something happens to somebody, I always try to put myself in their shoes. Like, what would I do if that were me? And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I have to call mom and daddy to drive 2 hours to my apartment to get it, and then drive all the way to Atlanta." Like, I was trying to map it out in my mind. I was freaking out for you.
I appreciate that. Yeah. My husband, God love him. He's sitting over here.
Oh,
He's like, babe, he goes, I'll drive home and get him. We live 8 hours from Atlanta. And I
oh
was like,
wow,
no, we're not doing that. I was like, we'll go buy a dress before we deal. I was like, no, we're not doing it. But it worked out. It worked
I'm
out.
so glad it did.
Somebody left late and was able to bring him to me. So it worked out.
So glad that worked out for you.
Thank you. Okay. If you could have your own TV show, what would it be about?
Mm. My TV show would just be about a sophisticated 30, 40 something year old woman who enjoys traveling the world, going on lots of dates, and enjoying life, just being fun and free and getting into crazy situations and carrying people along for the ride.
Okay. Now, speaking of dates, are there any dates coming up for you that you'd like to tell us about? You're like, oh,
Not just yet.
okay.
Not just yet. Hopefully in the near future, but not just yet. The only date that I'm looking forward to right now is June 24th because that will be my birthday.
She is
That's the
ready.
date. That's the date I'm looking for. That's the only date I have right now. That's all I got, people. I'm sorry.
Okay.
My phone is dry, so you have a young male relative out there who is single.
We're looking for young male relatives that live down south. Oh, your sister said,
Oh, I'm done.
We'll be watching.
Okay. Keep watching.
Um, if you could have a personal assistant, what would you have them do for you?
I would have my personal assistant fold my clothes.
The pile of clothes has been
Please,
there.
please come tackle the hamper. Thank you.
See, I don't mind folding. It's putting away.
It's folding for me.
It's the putting away, and it's the putting away because I have too much stuff. And so I have to like cram it in drawers, and it's the putting away, which I probably should purge some stuff, but then as soon as I do, I'll need something, so I can't,
right.
Other things. Okay. Do you drink coffee or tea?
I'm a tea gal. I love tea.
Are you like a sweet tea, iced tea kind of girl?
I do drink tea, and I get laughed at because I'm South Carolinian, and when I go out, I actually enjoy unsweetened tea. I do. I know that's weird, but
That's
I do.
rare.
But I like hot tea. My favorite tea is green tea. I drink a cup of green tea here and there. I drink a bunch of herbal teas, raspberry teas, peach tea. I'm from the peach capital of the world. I love peach tea. So
Okay. Would you rather be a superhero or the world's best chef?
a superhero. I like to cook, but I don't know. I'll take it or leave it.
Okay. And if you competed in a pageant that required talent, what would your talent be?
My talent, I have 3 that I would have done. It would be singing, belly dancing, or playing the flute.
Wow. You could do all 3 and do like a Lizzo.
There you go. I'll be the Lizzo of the pageant world.
All right. Let me make sure I didn't. Any questions from our crowd that anyone wants to ask? I think we've got them all. Last chance, y'all. Last chance.
Questions.
There's been some good ones tonight. Good interaction. Okay. All right. Well, as you know, we wrap every episode with an onstage question. Well, before I go to your onstage question, because that's going to be the end of our show, how can people follow your journey and see what's next for you?
Sure. You can follow me on Facebook. My page is Miss MS. South Carolina American Beauties Plus 2023 here on Facebook. You can follow me on Instagram. It's Miss MS. SCABP, and that's on Instagram. And you can follow me in those 2 places.
Perfect. Okay, so Nationals is coming up. Any big appearances between here and Nationals?
Not right now. Right now, I'm kind of laser focused in. If something comes up, when people ask and if it's, if it fits my schedule, I will show up. But nothing on the calendar right now. This is my big appearance before Nationals. So.
Oh man. It makes it even more special. Like, it's already special, but it's even more special.
That's right.
I am wishing you all the best. I am so excited for you. Enjoy, like you said, enjoy the journey, enjoy the ride. It'll go so fast. And then when you hear your name, it's like, so enjoy the moment,
Thank you.
rock the stage. But I can't let you go because we have to do our on stage question. Dun, dun, dun. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. If you are crowned today as our new national title holder, what would be the first thing you do as our new national queen?
The first thing that I would do as our new national queen is I would actually take my crown back to my hometown, South Carolina. I would show my neighborhood. I would actually take it to the burial sites of my grandmothers because they're the queens who inspired me to do what I do. And I would want to share that moment with them, even though they're not here with us anymore, but in spirit, share that moment with the women who came before me, who poured into me. That would be probably the first thing. That is the first thing that I would do.
Wow. It's amazing. It's amazing. Y'all heard it here. The amazing, incredible, beautiful
Mhm.
Ms. South Carolina American Beauties Plus,
You.
Candace Pixley. Wish you all the best at
Thank
National. I can't thank you enough for being here. You
thank you.
know, when you come on with that national crown, we have to have you back on.
That's the goal. National is the goal.
So wishing you all the best. I thank you so much for being on. Everyone that's watched tonight, thank you so much for tuning in. Stay tuned for our next episode, which is next Monday. And I believe it is one of my sister queens. So tune in for that next Monday at 7 o'clock. And then we have a special episode also next Wednesday. Remember, never let anyone dull your sparkle because they can't handle your shine. And you guys have a great night. Thanks all.
Bye.
Bye bye.